That's right. It's time for a Jake's Art Club. I hope you're ready. Tips and techniques every 2 weeks. 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 Tips and techniques every 2 weeks.
Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. It's great to be back. Great to see some friendly names in the chat. Hi everyone. Hope you're doing well. So we've got a brand new art class for you. Different subjects every 2 weeks. The idea, as you know, some of you, to paint along, draw along, and basically get your sketchbooks out and join in. So I'm going to be using pencils, charcoals in the first half, and then in the second half, oil paints. Okay, and remember though, it's just about giving it a go. Okay, so feel free to use whatever materials you have at hand, and maybe you can revisit the stream a bit later if you decide to invest in some materials. But just give it a go with what you've got. Okay, that's what we're here for. We want to get rid of that art block, and yeah, let's create some art. So let's look at the schedule. Welcome to the club, everyone. Welcome to the art club. We're starting off with still life this week. So we're going to go through a little bit what is still life, why I love it, and why I think you should too. We're going to be warming up. Okay, 1 second. Just got to turn down a second. A little bit loud. Sorry, guys. We're going to be warming up with ellipses. Okay, and I find ellipses to be one of the biggest hurdles when we come to still lifes. So, and then how to start a drawing. So we're going to take you through that process, and we'll be doing a 20-minute charcoal sketch of a still life. Lovely little tea break, most important part. And then we're really lucky to have the amazing Sarah Sedwick as we got a brilliant interview with Sarah, and I can't wait to share that with you. And she takes us through a little bit of her thinking and her experiences, and I really cannot wait to show you. So we've got that in store in the second half, and then we're going to jump straight into a painting like a modern still life. So if you've got anything to hand, that'd be brilliant. And this class is every 2 weeks, and I'm going to set you a challenge. Okay, so I'll be unveiling this week's challenge, so stay tuned, and then a few composition tips for creating your own still life. And as always, brilliant, my favorite part, the viewer gallery. Okay, I want you to share your artwork as we go along this evening, or if you're doing it later in the week, please share your artwork. Hashtag Jake's Art Club and mention jakebussell.art on Instagram. Okay, and then we'll be able to see your work and we'll be able to get it on stream. So let's take a swig of water. Stay hydrated, everyone. Hi everyone. Hi Jane. Hi Hannah. Hi Jamie. Good to see you again. Let's get into it. So, yeah, let me know how you're doing. Say hello in the chat. Introduce yourself. And if you do enjoy the stream today, make sure to subscribe and hit like. It really helps us out. We've also got a mailing list so you can stay up to date with the materials you're going to need for the next week. Okay, that's in the description. So just hit that mailing list and you'll get an email a few days before, or I might remember and do it a week before, so you're ready and you've got what you need. So here we go. What is still life? The term still life is derived from the Dutch still even. Okay, means the same thing. Okay, it gained prominence as like a movement in the 16th century The earliest known still life paintings were created by the Egyptians. Oh, hold on a second. Let's go back a little bit. A still life is a work of art depicting mostly inanimate objects, which are either natural or man-made. Okay, so these objects often contain powerful symbolism: skulls, rotting plants, and they were often used in these vanitas paintings. Skulls and rotting plants were used in vanitas paintings to comment on the fleeting nature of life. So, real deep symbolism sometimes, and music, books, instruments used to convey sort of the vanity of worldly pleasures and goods. And it was really a high art form. And I thought this was kind of interesting about the Egyptians. Look at this 15th century, this little depiction found on a tomb. And I love that we can jump back into and see what life would have been like back then. So there doesn't seem to be any face masks, but there looks like a few sandwich meal deals, and at the bottom there maybe some toffee popcorn, a slush puppy, and it looks like toothbrushes at the bottom. I swear that's anyway. I love looking at these old artwork. So it's been around forever, and let's look at why it's great. Okay, my slides are a bit messed up. First one, we're getting back into it. So, really, wonderful picture there by Cézanne on the left, using a bit of that vanitas, that skull, and some rotting fruit, and it really it draws you into that picture, and it's really a moment in time, and really there's so much you can do with still life, and John Baptiste's picture on the right, it's such a different handling of the paint, really, really, really wonderful. I want to show you some modern still lifes as well. One of my great friends, artist Kerry Doyland, has recently done some floral studies and some other still lifes. And just look at there on the left, wonderful, wonderful depiction of light. These paintings are more than the objects themselves, okay? Everyone loves a nice vase of flowers, but actually that painting, it speaks of the smell, the light, the joy, and so much of these flowers. Absolutely wonderful work by Kerry. Still life also, on the right here, these garlic cloves, absolutely wonderful, kind of delicate studies, and a really great chance to practice your observational skills. Okay, and really quite an intimate and personal view into an artist's mind, because why did they choose them objects? Why in that way? Why in that way? I've got some more examples from Russian artist Alexander Svist, and really, lovely pattern, texture, and a real playground for color experiments. Look at this chalk drawing on the right, that bright background and that amazingly bright, just beautiful to look at composition. And so basically what I'm trying to say is, here we got some more from Sedwick, Sarah Sedwick. What I wanted to say is, it's just such a playground, So you go outside, you paint a landscape. There's a horizon, you've got the blue sky, the trees, but actually in a still life, you are the master, and you can completely control that composition into every aspect. You can, easily change the lighting and the movements of the layout. And what Sarah's done here even is she's brought the subjects down to their most fundamental facets, the planes of value. Okay, and it's just wonderful to get back to basics and really look at how to use paint. And look at that lost edge there on the left side of that milk jug on the left painting. just absolutely wonderful. And you really get to know the fundamentals and the really important bits of painting. So, bit of a ramble, and you know, we've got a few little technical difficulties on the first one, but hopefully you're on board with me and you're excited, you're ready to do some still life. One thing that I think is so important to know is how to draw ellipses, okay? Because so much of the time when we do still life, there are just so many ellipses. So take a look at this picture on the left and see how many you can count, okay? Ellipses are the circular forms created by round objects, okay? So how many can you count? I think I counted about 12 if you count all the ridges on the mug as well. I haven't circled all of them here, but my point is they're everywhere, okay? And if we don't know how to do them properly, it can create a sort of a disjointed look. So let's jump into ellipses and really nail that, and let's get confident with our ellipses, and then we'll carry on to more sort of how to draw, steps of how to draw. Okay, so here's a simple form, glass of water. Here it is. And really important is to know eye line, okay? More than anything else, take a look here. Eye line is the horizon line where your eyes are viewing the object from. And that top ellipse, that top of the glass, looks flat to us. And as we work our way down, away from the eye line, the ellipses are getting thicker and thicker. Okay, so bear that in mind as we go along. And I'm gonna take you through the kind of mathematical construction of these ellipses now. And don't worry, I'm not gonna get you to do that in the final painting, but I think it will really help for us to understand it. Let me just say hi to everyone. Lucy says, ellipses are my nightmare. Brilliant. Well, I hope that it'll air a bit clearer after this. Here we go. Right, so this is our kind of mathematical formula. Okay, we're going to use 1 point perspective, and here we go. We're going to start off with an eye line. Okay, so you might want to draw along, take some notes. We're going to start off with that eye line and just put down a vanishing point. So this is 1 point perspective, so we've got one vanishing point. Now a nice straight line down from that as the center of our ellipse. So really good tip for drawing any kind of any kind of sorry, glasses or mugs or anything, is to just put that center line down straight away. And then we've got converging lines, okay, these green ones, and these are all going to point and converge towards the vanishing point. Okay, so we can put some of them on like this. And this is kind of an exaggerated example of an ellipse, just to make it clear. Now, 1 point perspective, so we can put the front of this square. Can you see we've got a square here? We're going to draw the square first. We're going to put the front on like that. And then I want you to sort of guesstimate where the back of that square would be, because if we've got it in perspective, okay, it's going to be a little bit further back, but not the same distance. Okay, so a little bit further back. Just whatever you think, whatever looks right. Now we need to find the center of our ellipse. So instead of it being dead in the center of these, we can make a cross. Go from corner to corner, corner to corner. And this intersection here, we go along from there, we make a nice Union flag shape. And that's our center of the circle in perspective. Okay, so that's the center of this box in perspective. And really, now we've got 4 points here and we just need to connect the dots. Okay, so it's, imagine each one as a little arc. Okay, and we want it to be as smooth as possible. So just before we do this, things to look out for. We don't want our sphere, our ellipse to look like an eyeball. Okay, so it's got these sharp edges, so not that. And we also don't want it to look like a cow, you know, where we've got flat sides and little curves for edges. Okay, so not like a cow. We want it to be nice and smooth all around. Okay, so let's give it a go. Let's try and put these arcs on. And it will take a few goes. You can draw quite lightly. Okay, there we go, something like that. Okay, and what you'll notice is this whole area, this front side of the ellipse is a lot more kind of curved and it's a lot larger because this half is larger. Okay, so really nice. Try and get that curve just to touch these spots and come away. So that's the kind of the mathematical way to draw an ellipse. Luckily, it's good to know, and then kind of have it in the back of our, in the toolbox for when we come to do a still life. So here's like a real world example of that. I've got a pasta pot, and you can see, so the vanishing point and the eye line are actually quite high up because I'm standing up and this is on a kitchen surface. So the pot is quite low and we can see a lot of that ellipse, and you can see all the measurements and the mathematical grid there. And I think Sarah has a tip for us. Sarah Sedwick. She's going to speak to us a little bit later, but let's just hear from Sarah.
My number one trick for painting good ellipses, because you were just saying that nailing those ellipses is a big part of making a good representational still life, pulling that off. So I have what I call a rear view mirror in my studio. It's just a mirror on the wall behind me. And so I'm painting along and all I have to do is turn around and look in the mirror and I can see that flipped reverse image of my painting.
So thanks, Sarah, really good tip. And actually, I don't have a mirror here, but everyone's got a phone, I'm sure. So you can always get out your selfie camera, okay? And that's going to mirror the image, okay? There we are. That's going to mirror the image, and that's going to emulate a mirror. So we'll keep that in our back pockets, and we'll use that a bit later on when we're doing our drawing too. Because seeing things reflected just really helps show any mistakes and any kind of things that are out of line. So thanks so much, Sarah. Now, you know the hard part. Now let's do the warm up. Okay, let's do the fun part. So, new page or turn it over, and I'm going to give you 2 minutes to draw loads of ellipses. But first of all, let's put on an eye line. Okay, this is our eye line. And we're going to guess the ellipses and we're going to do them freehand. Okay, so as they get further away from the eye line, they're going to get wider, they're going to get thicker, aren't they? Okay, so let's have a go. 2 minutes. Let's practice some ellipses. Okay, here we go. So they're going to be flat on the eye line. They're going to get gradually wider. Something like that. I'm going to try not to make them wider, but just make them thicker, you know, from top to bottom. Let's try and put some of these on. It's really, really good practice just to get the arm moving. Try and draw from your elbow, and so as we come above the eye line, we're going to start to see underneath the object, and we'll start to see these ellipses as well. There we go. Oh, our timer's out of place. Oh, we'll iron out the cracks, guys, don't worry. We'll iron out the creases. 40 minutes. Come on, let's get some more ellipses. So important that we know as we're going below the eye line, the ellipse is getting wider, okay? I know I keep going over it, but say we're drawing a little pot, okay, and it's like this. We can estimate now that actually the ellipse at the bottom is going to be wider. Okay, see this ellipse here is wider than the top and these ones. Okay, well done everyone. Lovely, good practice to just get drawing some ellipses and circles. Well, it's not circles, are they? But you know, circles in perspective. And we're going to jump right in to a still life drawing now. Here we go. Oh, again, all my slides are off. So we've got 20 minutes, and I'm going to take you through kind of the setup as well. I think, yeah, we can do it in 20 minutes. Let's just go. Let's just start right now. And so nice new paper. I'm going to be using charcoal pencil, and just charcoal, vine charcoal. Okay, so I'll show you how to approach drawing a still life. So nice little image here, and we can kind of fit these objects into a square. Okay, and I want you to, it's a little bit wider than it is tall, and I want you to, I think it might be the other way around, but I want you to put these into, I want you to put this square on your page as well. Okay, so let's draw a wide square. And what's great about this method is these are basically boundaries, and we can make sure that we're not going to fall off the edge of our paper. Everything's in the right place. Okay, so we've got our square. And let's think of it as a block of marble, and we're going to start to chip away at this block of marble. Okay, so we're not thinking about round lemons, you know, we're not thinking about a goblet or anything like that. What is it? It's like I don't know what that is. It's a jug. And and we're going to carve bits away at it. Okay, and we're really thinking abstractly. Okay, so we can come down the side of this square here, and we can draw a straight line, and keep your lines straight. Okay, where does the bottom of that jug lie? About there. Yep. It's not halfway, it's below halfway. Okay, and just put on some of these straight lines. You see how I've really kind of abstracted these into shapes. So I know that this touches the box here above the bottom of the jug. You see it's above, up a little bit, out along. Now, where does this jug begin? We can go down sort of where that blueberry is there, and where we're touching the edge of the box. We can do a nice straight line in and out. There we go. Side of the jug here. So more or less there. More or less there with that abstract shape. Let's put in this flower. Okay, so what that does, we've got it on now. It's almost like a really large thumb now, you know, really large. And we're not thinking about the shapes or anything, no ellipses, just put that composition on. And the next step is to just refine that. Okay, so starting to look at the negative space, starting to refine the individual shapes. And we're still using straight lines, okay? So carry on. That negative space in there. And this look at this bit of, it looks like grass or something. I should know, I picked it. Yeah, I think it's just a bit of wild grass. Just up there. I might have made this jug a little bit wide. That's not a problem. Blocked in main shapes. Now you might think, why not draw this lemon, you know, with a circle? Well, we can. We can bring that in, but if we start with straight lines, we can see kind of the abnormalities and the different rhythms in the lemon that we might have missed if we just went in and drew a circle. Okay, so even these blueberries, they're probably not just circles. They're and actually look, this lemon comes down a bit more. Okay, let's put these in. Don't forget the shadows. Okay, so we'll keep refining. I'm going to take away the yellow bits for a little bit, and let's just carry on. Okay, so I think we're almost ready to keep refining. I think the next step is to put in outline your shadows. Okay, so let's look at this core shadow here on this lemon. Really strong. We're starting to use curved lines now. Okay, there's a shadow there. Where's the core shadow of this? A few little shadows. Shadow there I missed. Okay, and now we want to check our ellipses. So we can come back and we can say, right, we've got a layout now. We're really happy with it's quite accurately laid out, and the relationships between the different objects are looking fine. It's what I wanted it to be. Now let's go into a more conventional drawing and put that central line in for this jug and work out our ellipses. So just being a little bit more refined here, and we need to make sure that the central line is the middle of the ellipses. Okay, so we're kind of looking, okay, is this ellipse thinner or wider or thinner? Okay, put one in there, and there's one here where the jug's changing shape again. There we go. And our eye line is above the frame. So as we're coming down, it's going to get curvier and curvier and wider ellipses. So let's make this one extra wide at the bottom. Brilliant. So we've got, I think the sketch is there now. I'm happy. I'm going to rub it out and I'm going to go in with the tones. How's everyone getting on? Hannah's scared. Come on, Hannah. It's great. So I'm just gonna line it up. Leave the information there, but lighten the sketch. Get rid of some of this marble outline. So this is actually the way that I lay out for a lot of drawings, and even like watercolor studies, I will lay out in this way and use a very, very fine pencil, and it all, you know, we can rub it all away. But in this case, I want to be messy. I want to get some charcoal in there now. So I'll take away the ellipses. We've got another 11 minutes. Let's carry on. That's it. That's the spirit, Hannah. We can do this. We can do this. Hi, Terry. Hi, Jean. Hey, Poppy. Great to see you. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Nikki. Brilliant. I hope you're drawing along. Okay. So I'm going to squint and just work out where the main values are. So let's put in some darks here. Shadow. I think I'm going to start with, I'm going to do the 4, 2, 3, 1 and 5 value system. That was in the last life drawing video. So I'm going to start with 4. So not my darkest dark, but pretty dark. Let's just get it in. Love using charcoal just to quickly get in tones. Can't wait to get back to life drawing classes when they reopen. Thanks everyone that joined for lockdown life drawing. It was so much fun. So this new format, we'll have to see how it goes, you know, and we're looking for your feedback. So let us know. And at the end of this one, and we'll try and improve it each week so that you're inspired and you're getting your pencils and your paints out. Going to bring it down a little bit. I'm just going to take the brightness down a little bit. There we go. So that's 4. Let's put in 2. I think all of this jug is undertone. Let's switch to a hatching method. Put in our 2 values. Lemon's quite bright. Maybe it's got a little bit of tone on it though, just because we need to bring out that highlight. Just a big sort of tonal experiment. It's wonderful. Good fun. Okay. I'll just be back in 1 second. Just got to get some. Just going to get some kitchen paper. I'm doing a little bit of blending, a little bit of transitions now. Love the way charcoal looks. It's been moved about by a little bit of kitchen paper. It takes on a sort of paint effect. Really nice. Okay, so that's the freeze. Hopefully, blocked in. Now let's go in with some real darks and make sense of this. Let's really bring the drawing out. Okay, so the real darks. Wonderful to do a little tonal study before you go into any painting. Just to start thinking in values, you know. Need to be a lot more generous with this tone. See a few sharp, harsher edges starting to appear. Make sure our reflected light isn't too light. Very easy trap to fall into. quite difficult to draw this jug as it's quite dark, isn't it? Sort of a medium tone most of the way. I'm going to bring in the charcoal pencil in a minute. It's great to be drawing with you again. This is awesome. Keep squinting. Keep working out your values. Okay. 1 minute left. Hooray! Flies by. A little bit of reflected light. Don't want to do too much. A few little highlights. Few seconds left. Never did get around to doing that flower. Okay, there we go, guys. How did you get on? Little tonal study to start us off. So, just a few little marks. Probably too many highlights now. Let's push some of them back just a little bit. Didn't even get in there with the charcoal pencil. Right, that's it, guys. That's why we set a time limit. Jake, stop drawing. Right, there you go. Nice little tonal still life. When we come back, guys, we're going to be painting. Going to hear from Sarah. I can't wait to show you this interview, and gives you a little bit of chance now to get out some paints if you've got some. If not, just draw along. Okay, I'd love to have you with us. Okay, so I'll see you in 5 minutes, and yeah, stay hydrated. Hey, awesome, we're back. So, I'm going to intro Sarah. This is, I hope you had a nice little tea. My guest today is Sarah Sedwick, an oil painter from Eugene, Oregon. Her work focuses mainly on still life, and she does some great portraiture as well. Her paintings are incredible. I can't wait to show you. They're bursting with confidence, colour, and a beautiful, painterly, economic brushwork. Sarah started a daily painting blog in 2008 and has used it to chronicle her art journey, hone her skills, and build an audience. She now has a really, impressive following on social media and manages to inspire and encourage artists around the world. Teaching is an integral part of her creative work. She holds painting workshops in the US, as well as video lessons, and runs an online art mentorship program. I'm especially excited to interview Sarah, as a few years ago I discovered her work, and it gave me the confidence to get back into painting, practicing, and really enjoying art again. So Sarah, thank you for what you do, and welcome to the stream.
Thanks for that introduction, Jake. And I just love it that you shared that personal detail about yourself, about getting back into painting several years ago. And one of the inspirations was seeing my work. I had a really similar experience when I was starting my blog in 2008, as you mentioned. I was in my late 20s at the time. I had just made a major cross-country move, and I was ready for a big life change, really. I had, after I got out of art school, I really didn't know how to get started with my art career, and I just kind of floundered around and did life stuff for more years than I like to admit. And then what happened for me sounds a lot like what happened for you.
So how are you, and where are you joining us from?
I am actually fine.
Good. Right.
Luckily, everyone that I know is healthy and safe here, and I'm joining you from Eugene, Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest in the US.
At what time did you realize art was your passion? Can you tell us how it all started? I think you started quite young, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been drawing since I could hold a pencil. My mom claims I could draw a perfect circle at the age of 1. I think that's probably an exaggeration. I have been drawing as long as I can remember, though. It was mostly like princesses and little doodles, but
Cool.
I was really started in art lessons really early. I come from a creative family. My father is a cellist. He's a classical musician. And
Wow.
so it was a family where having a career in the arts was realistic and accepted. And so I feel really lucky for that.
When did you fall in love with still life in particular?
I've thought back to my college, my art school training, though, and I do remember that there were a couple of times that I had painted a still life from life, just like twice during that whole time, and that there was a click there. The paintings were like they had something. They had something that my other work was not capturing.
The daily vlog and your social posts are so inspiring. We can do so much thinking about art, where in reality, the best thing to do is just practice. What is your routine like? And are you still painting almost every day?
No, I'm not painting every day now, unfortunately. I did the real traditional daily painting for about 2 or 3 years, and then teaching started to happen,
Yeah.
and that changed it a lot. About 4 years ago, I started mentoring online, and I was already teaching workshops. I've been teaching workshops since I think 2012. I don't know where the time has gone.
Wow.
I'll tell you, I agree with what you said about the best way to improve is just to do it. And
Yeah.
I have like lots of thoughts and opinions about that. And the first few years that I did daily painting, I was just throwing everything at the wall to see what stuck, including like what kind of style I wanted to paint in, what kind of subject matter I wanted to paint in, what sizes, what formats. I even did plein air for a few years in an insane attempt to see if I could get down with that, which I could not. So there's that on the one hand. There's do it a lot and you will improve. On the other hand, intentional practice is also
Yes.
very valuable. And
No,
when
of
I started
course.
teaching more intensely, I've gotten so much out of teaching over the years. One of the things is exactly what you mentioned in the beginning. You said inspiring people who've gotten away from painting to get back into it and have that in their lives again, because I had that experience so profoundly. But the other piece is purely selfish, I have to say. Teaching makes me a better painter.
Building your style, was there any particular breakthrough moment that you can remember?
Thing that happens when you put the brush on the canvas a lot, which is what I was doing back then. It wasn't that I was making a lot of good paintings. I was making a lot of really mediocre paintings, but I could start to see my style emerge. And that's how it happens. A lot of students come to me and they say, my goal is to find my artistic voice. I want to find my style. And I say, that's great. You can do that. I can help you. Because oftentimes people will see your style before you can.
I often say to people, your style exists like almost like a fingerprint or a signature. You know, it is there and it will always be there, you know, and you're almost just developing it. And do you see what I mean? Like, you can't get rid of it if you tried.
Right. It's a fingerprint. I totally agree. But like a fingerprint, you gotta make the print, or else you can't use it for anything. So it's like, I think it's one of the most exciting journeys that an artist can take in their life, is just investigating their own personal style as it's coming out.
You teach, you do teach in quite a structured approach, starting with a thumbnail sketch, value study, underpainting, and then a final painting. Do you always follow this method, this process? And what do you find some of the benefits of working in that way?
Planning and thinking about the fundamentals on a regular basis is so, it's so helpful. It's been so helpful.
We're so eager to just jump in and get to that final painting, right?
I see students over and over again. They just don't feel like they're painting if the brush isn't on the canvas and moving. I get it. One thing I'm always pushing is that time spent mixing colors is time spent painting. Robert Henry in The Art Spirit, he says, you're going to spend that time somewhere during the painting process, that mixing time, that thinking time, that looking time. Do you want to space it out in little bits throughout the whole painting part, or do you want to take care of some of it up front so you can then just sort of let it all hang out when you're on the canvas?
Be present, be focused,
And so I do not do a thumbnail sketch or a value study for every painting that I make, but if I'm working bigger than 12 by 12, I'm doing something, whether that's ballpoint pen, Sharpie, and white marker on tan paper, which is a pretty low-key, low-tech way to do it, or on Procreate on the iPad, value studies, super fast, or painting in black and white oils, which I love and I think is an amazing way to become a better painter. So my still life workshops, as opposed to my portrait workshops, my still life workshops kind of divide this way. I've got one that walks you through all those steps, from thumbnail through a black and white value study, through the underpainting, and then full color. And then my other workshop is more focused on the limited palette and how we can do quick studies or quick exercises to get some energy back.
Since the pandemic, a lot of classes have gone online, and I know you're an advocate for painting from life. Do you have any tips for our viewers when they're painting from a photo reference? How can they keep that energy, that impressionism?
So the problems with working from photos is that a lot of the information that we think is there is not there. We really believe the photo.
Sure.
One of the things that the camera does a lot is draw edges or lines where they aren't really there, to show us the difference between one object and another, the contrast that's there. And when I'm painting with people, I'm saying squint, squint, squint. That's probably some of the best painting advice you'll ever get, because it takes some of that information that your eyes are getting so acutely out, off the table, so we can find lost edges. And you mentioned, how do you stay loose and painterly when you're working from photos? You look for opportunities to create lost edges. The camera may not give you that information. So edges are one of the most critical. I think value relationships, and then edges. And that's all painting is, right?
Sure.
You paint it any color you want, as long as you match those value relationships. Color matching is not that critical to representational painting. But learning how to create hard edges and soft edges, and then learning where to look for the potential for lost edges, those are kind of more technical things that come from physical practice. But yeah, an understanding of how to manipulate those tools. So a soft edge is going to help something turn away from your eye in space, like an egg or something that's turning away from you.
What do you look for when you're setting up a still life? And do you have a favorite subject?
You know, it's funny. I get the favorite subject question a lot,
Sure.
and I don't have, I should come up with a good answer for this. The truth is I go through these phases with things where I'll become obsessed with something, paint it like a dozen times and then move on, and then usually come back to it a year or so later because I do repeat things a lot. So right now I'm totally obsessed with this little antique silver cream pitcher, which if you've been watching my work for the last year, you have seen this thing dozens of times. I cannot stop painting it.
Sarah, do you have any mantras or something you tell yourself when you're painting? Like you're starting a painting, right? Perhaps like a weakness and you're trying to bring yourself back on track, anything like that?
Oh yeah. Knowing your common issues is pretty important. Like for example, when I paint portrait, have this tendency to make the model 10 years older and 10 pounds fatter by the
Yeah,
time my painting is finished. So I can fight that, and I know of ways to actively work against that. You know, how do you
sure.
make somebody look younger and thinner? I've got a couple goals when I'm painting. I want to move on from an area before it's finished.
Right.
So giving each area of the painting a chance to be done all on its own without me having to make sure that it's 100% finished before I move on is really critical to the finished look of my paintings, because often I'm not 100% sure I'm finished with like that lemon before I move on to working in the negative space. And I want to move on before I'm finished. So when I turn on the internal monologue and I'm talking while I'm demoing, like you'll hear me say over and over, okay, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. Let's go over here. And I don't always do it, but I can hear myself saying it in my head.
Something we ask all our guests, Sarah, is what's your favorite art book?
Ooh, my favorite art book. So I have a few. And
Oh, you can only choose one. No, I'm kidding.
So well, how about we can break it down into art books with pictures and art books without pictures.
Brilliant.
So Sargent is my favorite painter, and I love looking at Sargent art books. But I have to say that I just got the book The Art of Still Life by Todd Casey. It's a new book. It just came out about 6 months ago, and it's really knocking my socks off this year. I'm actually going to do a book club discussion with my online mentorship group in August about this book. We've all
Fantastic.
got it. We're loving it. So The Art of Still Life by Todd M. Casey. That's my current favorite art book with pictures. And I guess two books. The Art Spirit by Robert Henry that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, fantastic. But I'll tell you, I read that in art school and I didn't understand it. And then I read it again 6 years later and went, where has this book been all my life? Like I just couldn't get it. I had to paint my way into understanding it.
I've got halfway through it. I struggle with reading, but it's fantastic. It really is.
Fantastic. And the other one is Hawthorne on painting.
Oh, right. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, it's a real small book. It's not actually written by Charles Hawthorne, but it's a compilation of lectures and critiques by him. And I read this book twice a year. It's fantastic.
What do you think is the best piece of painting advice you've ever been given or have read?
Squinting is a really solid piece of painting advice.
Yeah, definitely.
It is. And that's really tied up with this idea, this quote. I don't know who to attribute the quote to, but someone said it to me several years ago, and I've never forgotten it, that color gets all the credit in painting, but value does all the work. I think, here's another piece. I'll tell you the worst piece of painting advice I ever got.
Yeah, sure.
So I got some advice a while back that I should only put out my best work. I should only put my best work out there. So I understand this advice, but truthfully, I am not a very good judge of what my best work is. If I only put out the work I did that I thought was the best, I would look like a very different artist to everyone. To be honest, the paintings of mine that I make that I like the most tend to stay with me forever, or
Sure.
much longer than the others that I just think, meh, yeah, it's good enough. So I'm a good
I
judge.
think that's so true. You know, that you're connected with that bad piece or something in so many ways, and you've got so many problems with it, perhaps. But someone else, it could be their favorite of yours. It
Yes.
really could. And actually, I missed the question. I was going to ask you. You're so prolific with your painting and your posts. I just wondered if you ever had a bad day, you know, and paint a dud and think that's going in the bin. Like, does that ever happen?
Yeah, and so I'm not the judge of what my best work is going to be, but I am a pretty good judge of when my work is garbage and it needs to be destroyed.
Sure.
I don't put So instead of only putting out my best work, I just don't put out the garbage.
Yeah.
Good news and bad news. The more you paint, the more bad days you're going to have, just statistically. And so if you feel like you're having a lot of bad days, that probably means that you are painting a lot, and
Yeah.
improving
Which is
is my
brilliant.
guess, because that's one major way that we improve is by painting a lot. So yeah, I have bad days. They happen less often than they used to. And a lot of the time they occur because I'm trying to paint a subject that I'm just not that into.
My brother Max, you saw him earlier. He's also a big fan of your work, and he wants to ask, do you eat the fruit after you're done painting with it?
Sometimes. So yeah,
Yeah.
there will be times like after a workshop when I'll just have a counter covered with random stuff. Do I eat it? So I do have a saying or a concept that I'm trying to push on the world, that it's good luck to eat your still life. So whether I eat it or I get somebody else to eat it, I do like to get my still life
That's really
eaten.
nice.
Yes, yes, I do.
So everyone, I just want to recommend that you go follow Sarah on Instagram at Sedwick Studio. Sarah, your work really is a joy to look at. And if anyone's learning to paint, Sarah's tips, her content's brilliant. So really, I do recommend you go and follow Sarah. Sarah, I hear you've got some fantastic video lessons and one that you've just finished. Where can people find them?
So I have two really beautiful video-based workshops. Download, work through them at your own pace. You have the videos forever, and those are both being sold through the Kara Bullock Art Studio. There's two videos. One is Oil Painting Bootcamp, the 3-color and white workshop that we talked about before, and the brand new one is Zorn Palette Portrait. And both were shot this year in 2020. But I also have a lot of YouTube videos. So for an introduction to my teaching style and to see a little bit of what my upstairs home studio looks like, you can check out my YouTube videos for free.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers? So you're coming to the UK, anything else?
Yes, I'm coming to the UK for the first time ever. I have not taught overseas before, and I'm super excited. Courtyard Art Studio in Buckinghamshire will be the week of March 19th. And we're going to do 2 3-day workshops and a 2-day workshop. So there's plenty of opportunities to sign up. It's all still life based. And we might do a public demo one of the evenings as well. Thanks for listening. And I really appreciate you, Jake, and this interview. And I'm going to subscribe to your channel and watch all your shows. I know you and the viewers are about to do a paint along and work from still life reference. And I guess as you're going through, just keep in mind, you don't need to finish any one area before moving on to the next area. Work a little bit all around the painting so you have something to compare everything else to. And also squint a lot. You're looking for value relationships, not color matching. And also put that paint down and leave it alone. Because the more times you touch in any one area, the more you're blending away your value differences, your beautiful brushwork, and turning everything into this kind of mid-tone mush. So put it down, leave it alone. That's how you'll keep that freshness and looseness in your work.
Thank you, Sarah. That's brilliant. Okay, we're going to go and paint inspired by your style now. Thank you so much. It's been, really amazing to have you on the stream. Have a great day, and we'll see you when you come to the UK, hopefully.
Awesome. I'll see you next year. Have a great show. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that. Wonderful to talk to Sarah. I've got a few of the books that she recommended here. Art Spirit, as I said, halfway through that. But Hawthorne on painting, it's just a little one. Haven't yet had a chance to look at that. But the Art of Still Life, got it today. Had a little flick through, and wow, really does look good. I'm gonna enjoy reading that. So thank you for the recommendations, Sarah. And there are links to the books in the description if anyone wants to find them easily. Right, Sarah, I hope you're ready to paint. I've got my apron on. Let's do it. So Sarah's really, really kindly given us one of her reference photos to work from today. So so lovely. We've got a true Sarah Sedwick to work from. So if you're painting along, fantastic. If you just want to draw this composition, I hope you enjoy it. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to have 45 minutes for this, and unfortunately my timer says 40 minutes, but I'll start it in 5 minutes, and then we can get the time right. So Max, if you're listening, come and tell me when 5 minutes is up, and I'll start the timer. Now, I'm going to try and really think about what Sarah was saying there, and arrange my values. So values are the most important. Let's start with a wash. Get some of this white off the canvas, and then a block in. Okay, so let's just grab some color. I'm thinking sort of a brown with some Gamsol to block in. Okay, got some Gamsol here. Get it really nice and thin. Yeah, I don't mind it being, so the composition's quite red, quite cool. So if I use a red, I can fight against that. So if I put a red in the background. Okay. So I've got like a real wash here to put on. Let's just put some colour on the canvas. And we're going to rub this off. This looks a little bit dark at the moment, but we'll make sure to rub it off. Just push it into the board. There we go. And we've got that edge off the canvas. Okay, we've got that white. It's gone, it's vanished. Now we're going to block in, and I might block in with I think I'm going to block in with the same color, this kind of sludge, this brown. Maybe bring a bit of blue into it just to make it a little bit darker and sort of more malleable. Make sure, one of my big things is I never mix enough paint. So after we've done our block in, I'm going to make sure that we mix up a load of paint, like Sarah said. I think that's brilliant. Okay, so similar to before, we're thinking of the shape. So if you've got a larger canvas, perhaps, just do some lines and get yourself a similar rectangle. And we're gonna block in this composition. Just gonna go for a slightly smaller brush to start with. Okay, so let's look at this ellipse. First challenge. Where is it intersecting with the side here? It's really quite a big ellipse. We're seeing a lot of the inside of this bowl. Something like that, maybe a bit taller. Okay, so let's put them points on them, 4 points, and then we can begin to create them arcs. And no doubt we'll get out our camera in a minute and use Sarah's great tip. So, how's it going, bro?
That's your first 5 minutes.
That's the 5 minutes. Blimey, when I've only got a few lines.
There are a couple of people asking what colour paints are you using?
Oh, great. Okay, yeah. I did mean to mention. I'm doing just 3 primaries. I've got cadmium red, cadmium yellow, and French ultramarine. And you know, you could use these, or you could use whatever you've got, because I didn't pick them for any reason other than 3 primaries. And really in this painting I want to focus on value, kind of as Sarah was saying. But I didn't want to do a black and white painting. I wanted to well, I'm cheating, aren't I? I've skipped that step. But we did the charcoal bit. So I'm hoping that's gonna, you know, make our minds really aware to the values of this painting. But yeah, any colours, grab 3 primaries and just start blocking in. Maybe you've got like an umber or something like that. You can just block in really quickly, so you don't have to mix. Okay. Right, where's the bottom of this bowl? So any other questions, guys? I'll try and keep the chat open and get talking. See you, Sarah. Thanks for joining. Gonna catch up tomorrow. Lovely. Hi, Naomi. Good to have you. So now I'm thinking I've done this too large. So I'm going to bring it down a bit. Let's wipe away, shall we? Just grab a bit of Gamsol and erase some of this where I've gone wrong. So, I mean, it might be quite obvious, but I haven't done a lot of painting during lockdown, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into it. Again, Sarah is so inspiring, and I love still life, the way you can just, you know, you don't need a reference, you don't need a computer, anything. You just grab something you've got in front of you, you know, put a lamp on, and or, you know, it might be a strong light from an open window, and bam, you know, you've got the perfect little setup. Right, let's look at the values now. I know a few of you are painting along with acrylics tonight. That's brilliant. And actually next week we're focusing purely on colour, and we're going to be using acrylics. So I'll send you an email with all the colours and things that I recommend you have. Although, to be honest, any set will do. I never get hung up about particular colours because it's like, well, they're all, it's the warmth, the coolness, everything's relative, and you can make a great painting, as Sarah said, with just black and white, so really it doesn't matter too much. But we're going to learn all about colour, all the fundamentals, share everything I know. So I'm just kind of etching in some tone, squinting my eyes, there's a shadow at the back here. What am I painting on? I'm painting on MDF. I think, anyway, yeah, it's like a really thin board that I got from Amazon. I got a pack of 50 of them, just cut into A4 size, and I've just covered it with white gesso, 2 coats of white gesso. I know Sarah likes working on canvas boards. You can get them at any art store, but I prefer the smoother surface. I don't enjoy that textured canvas. I prefer kind of like the harder surface. Okay, so I think I'm nearly done with this blocking. I'm going to start mixing some colours. See what we can make with these 3 colours. So, exciting. Shall we go for the orange? Let's go for the oranges. Going for that bright part first. So I'm just grabbing, I know that yellow is very weak when we're mixing, so let's grab loads of that yellow. Loads of it. Just going to put a little bit of linseed oil. In here, because the paint's a little bit dry. Cool, so I've got an orange, and I'm going to mix a darker one too. Okay. So I've got a rule that I absolutely love. It's called the blast rule, and I learned this from James Gurney, and he is absolutely fantastic. I'd love to have him on the street. But big brushes, large to small, accents last, soften edges, take your time. Okay, blast rule, B-L-A-S-T. So big brushes, I'm going to start with a big brush. This is probably not the biggest brush I've got. Let's start with, that's a bit bigger. No. Yeah, could go for this one. Yeah, let's go for the biggest one I've got. And so big brushes first and paint large to small. So here we go. Let's just get some of this orange in here. Just adding a bit of white to bring up the God, the red is so strong. I keep mixing a red. Let's get some more yellow. So big brushes, lots of paint. See how it goes. Right, okay. And I really liked what Sarah said, we've just put the paint down and leave it. Okay, so that's not, I'm going to try not to touch it too much once it's down. So we haven't got a lot of time, so let's just push in these brush strokes. And another great tip from John Sargent, paint into other areas. Don't just paint like here. Really, I need to paint beyond. You know, don't just paint colors next to each other, but paint into them and mold pieces together. Hey Poppy, yeah, of course you can use watercolour. I absolutely love watercolours. I'm sure we'll use them on the stream soon. Run out of yellow again, I need to get more yellow. Right, I think I'm getting distracted with some details, so let's stop, let's get back to the picture, okay? Just as Sarah said, work with the picture as a whole and not just in small areas. So I'm going to swap brush and work out some of this blue. Okay. So it's like a greyed down blue, but it's actually quite green. I might struggle to get this blue with ultramarine, but I'll whatever we can mix we'll use. Remember, our goal today is not matching colours but matching values. Okay, so I'm thinking this is kind of like the mid, maybe the light, maybe quite light actually on the bowl this time. Try and keep the brush strokes confident. Okay. Let's bring in some darks. So that blue inside the bowl is going to be reflecting on with that orange, and I think it's going to make it quite, it's going to give it like a red. I can see a lot of red there, just here. Maybe more. The brush is a little bit contaminated with white. Very difficult to get this blue. "20 minutes in. How was everyone doing?" So let's try and block in now this green of the table. So I don't mean to cover up my my hand there. So we want to completely get rid of that underdrawing that we had. Just completely cover all of it as quick as possible. Mix loads of paint. Not mixing enough. Let's make some grey for the background, but there's quite a lot of blue in that grey. A bit darker than that. Keep squinting. Remember, we're not going after colour, we're going after values. If the values are right, we've got half a painting. If they're wrong, no good. So this part here is darker than the other bit there. So you're getting a bit of glare. See if we can fix that glare on the page. Do you want to see if we can? Thanks, bro. A little bit of glare here. Take it that way a bit, maybe. Yeah, that's a bit better.
Yep.
Thanks. Thanks, bro. really going to take what Sarah said about pre-mixing and practice that. I think that's such a good idea. We can get such a muddle on our palette. And Sarah said as well, you know, she, in one of her tutorials, she said she often wants to come back to a color. So it's so good to do that pre-mixing so that you can, you know, and it's not just disappeared on the canvas. We got 15 minutes left. I've nearly covered the canvas. Oh, Naomi's just ordered some boards. What a champ! Brilliant. Yeah, just get some acrylic, white acrylic gesso, and it's a real nice way to get a load of boards, painting boards quickly, cheaply. And you know, they can be exactly how you want them as well. I think sometimes you get to know brands, don't you? But sometimes the boards aren't quite what you want. How's the house? Yeah, the house is great. We're all moved in. Got a little studio set up. It's a lot of fun living with Max. So I really should have mixed more of this background colour. We've still got 50 viewers. It's amazing. Can't wait to see what you're getting up to. In a moment, I'll give you all the instructions you need to send in your work. So with oil paints, there's this saying, fat over lean, okay? And basically what it means is you want to put fat paint that's got a lot of oil and a lot of body to it, over thin paint. And the reason we do that is if you put like loads of fat paint down early on, it can be hard to change the colours and correct what we've done. And it's quite easy to kind of add oil to oil paints as you go along and start quite thin, you know, using an odourless spirit or something. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at the ellipse. Okay, I'm gonna get my phone out and do selfie mode, have a little look. See what's going on there, see what's wrong. Bit flat this side, I think. And it could be tighter this side. So flat here and could be tighter. Let's have a go at fixing that. It's good to be painting again. So happy you guys could join me. Thank you. Just keep squinting and look at my values and think, what's wrong? What can change here? What's lighter? What's darker? Oh, there's a part here that I haven't touched yet. Whoops. Benefits of having a good underpainting. You don't realise you haven't painted a bit. 4 minutes left. Okay, so last few minutes really, I need to add any little details and highlights, and if I can, soften some edges quickly. I'm gonna go to a smaller brush. I'm not going to use pure white. I'd never suggest using pure white for highlights, but always tint it down with something. You know, I would always tint or tone any color you use. We don't want it to be out of the tin. You know, I like to say make your own colors to paint with. You know, create your own paints before putting them on the canvas. I'm sure there's lots of people that have painted with the straight out of the tube before, and this is a unique, you know, this is your painting, so let's make up some colors. I think I'm playing about too much with the paint. Need to let it be. Oh, time's up. Just going to do a few more marks, let you have a little bit more time. Few more. Just wanted to bring this. Oh, bit too light. Just wanted to bring this in a little bit sharper there to describe that spout. I haven't had much in the way of softening edges. Let's put a little highlight here. Little reflection there. And I'm going to try to fix the bottom of the bowl, and then we're done. Okay, there we have it, guys. There we go on. So I think we can smudge this here, really push that back. And maybe it's looking quite red in the camera. It's not quite as red here. But yeah, maybe I've gone too red on these parts, you know, like I could have brought more of that blue into the bowl. But give it a squint. Yeah, I think more tone here in the front of the bowl. I might just do a few little extra dabs of paint to fix that. But overall, I'm fairly happy, and I like the reflections here. So yeah, thanks for joining me for that painting. How did you get on? I can't wait to see your work. So let me just wipe my hands. And yeah, so share your images, right? If you go onto Instagram and hashtag Jake's Art Club, mention me as well, Jake Bussell Art, and I'll be able to see it a lot easier. It will pop up. And I'd love to get a look at what you guys have created this evening. You know, even if it's not completely finished, like mine, I'd still love to see the progress. And so take a nice, you know, a clear photo and hashtag that real quick. And Max is working behind the scenes, and we'll get to see them on the show in just a minute. So just while we're waiting for that, I just wanted to say a big thank you to our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah, and if anyone wanted to support the channel on Patreon, a link's in the description. But you guys are going to get a pack of high quality reference photos and a worksheet with composition tips as well, like written down, so you can take that away. But really, guys, thank you. You know, it's not necessary to support the channel on Patreon, but I'm a bit lit up. Hold on. But it's amazing that you do. So thank you. This week's challenge, right? Okay. So while you're uploading your pics, I just wanted to challenge you. Okay. So this week, I want you to create your own still life, but from life, okay? So no photos. I want you to use objects from your own home. You know, I mean photos. You can go out to a charity shop or an antiques place or wherever you want and grab something interesting. But I'm sure you've got loads of stuff to set up a wonderful still life. Find a strong light source. All mediums allowed, okay? So you don't have to be painting in oils or acrylics or anything, just as long as we're creating, right? As long as we're putting the pencil or the paintbrush to the paper. And make sure to take a picture of your setup, okay? And send both of them pictures, your final artwork and the picture of your setup. Put them on Instagram and again, hashtag Jake's Art Club and @Jake Bussell Art. And you've got until the 19th of July to do this. And I'd love it if we got some people joining in on the challenge, and we'll go through them at the beginning of the next stream, which is on the 20th of July. Okay, so a few tips for you now. Composition tips for setting up your own still lives. And composition tips for your own still lives. Here we go. So rule of thirds, I think, I didn't expect there to be this here. Oh, just thumbs up. Rule of thirds, okay? So key. And you don't have to stick to it 100%, but just think of them intersecting points, okay, on the rule of thirds, that it would be nice to have a point of interest, okay? So where the flower, the top of the vase, okay, and maybe that reflection on the little goblet, that's just a point of interest. So cut your composition into 3 like that, and see what you can line up with them intersecting points, okay? And another one, the L shape, okay? So or the reverse L. Quite often it's really nice to, especially for classic still lifes, put your composition into an L shape, okay? So you've got a taller part and a longer part, like a lower part. And this is really pleasing for the eye, and you can do it either way. But have a play with that. You know, you might have some taller objects and some little fruits or some little gems or pearls or something that can kind of lead the eye. And yeah, have a play with the L shape. It's actually quite a fun thing, and make sure that you've got a nice bit of variety in your still life. Rule of odds. So it's kind of good to. It can be good to use odd numbers of objects. Okay, so here we've got 3 objects, and you know, maybe if we had 4 objects lined up in a row, it would look a bit obvious. You know, it would look a bit. There wouldn't be enough variety again, and the thinking of the rule of odds can just help us to think, oh yeah, actually it looks a little bit more random if there's an odd number, and a little bit more pleasing to the eye. Keep the eyes moving. So in this composition, we've got the eye traveling up the plant, up that little bottle, that medicine bottle, over, and that straw is bringing the eye back down, and we're going around the pear and back into the composition. That space opening up between the fruits and the plant. So this is quite a nice composition. I think it's really kind of pleasing, and the eye's got a route to move through. Okay, so thinking about the root of the eye, root of the viewer's eye, is another really cool tip. And yeah, I mean, things like knives and things cutting through the canvas can be really, really strong and really interesting for directing the eye. So another cool thing. And create interest with shadows. So what I mean by this is, I mean, look at this pot here. It's the shadows and the reflections there are really, really wonderful. And maybe without a strong light source and without them cool shadows, it just wouldn't be as interesting. We want to make the viewer kind of fall in love with these objects just for their aesthetic quality, right? So shadows, just keep being mindful of shadows is a really, really good tip. And here, look, we've got a little bit of that straw coming off the canvas there, off the frame. Maybe you could use, cutting through the edge of the frame as a compositional thing as well. Here we've got overlap objects to avoid tangents. So tangents are essentially, let me grab something. I'll grab something. If we have this orange and this lemon, and we just put them, kind of next to each other, you see where they join here. that there is creating a tangent, like an X shape. And it's not very pleasing to the eye sometimes, okay? It can be quite jarring. So actually, if we were to overlap the objects like this, overlap the fruits, then we're missing that tangent, and that's something to look out for, okay? So overlapping can create a little bit of depth, and we don't want things, lining up side by side. But most importantly, break the rules, okay? Break all the rules. Every rule about composition can be broken, and the best thing to do really is experiment and go with your feeling, okay? What I like to do is collect a load of objects together, randomly walk up, select a few, place them down under a light, and I'm not thinking about it too much. And then you assess, you look at the composition and you think, oh, actually that's surprisingly quite interesting together, and you can move it around and everything. And I'm not necessarily thinking of the rules straight away, but they are really good to think about. So here we've got Manet, and he's broken one of the rules, hasn't he? He's gone for 4 mandarin oranges, and he's broken the rule of odds. But it's a fantastic painting and wonderful paint quality. So break all the rules. So guys, I really hope you do take up the challenge. Okay, make your own still life this week and share it with me. I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be posting a video of my process as well. And it wouldn't be fair if I didn't do my own challenge, right? And let's do this. Let's do this. And I really hope you've enjoyed this evening. So we're going to take a look at the viewer gallery and see if we've got any images to look at. So let's have a look. Has Max got any of your work to show? Oh, wow. Oh, brilliant. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Jack. Wow. Well, I'm blown away by this. I love this. Look at that. That's so strong. And you've got that beautiful red underpainting on this, and then like showing through. And wow, really well done. I'm so pleased that you've been painting along. And oh, look, 39 seconds ago. Brilliant. You were quick. You were quick in with the painting. I love this. I love the reflections especially, and I really like your bowl. I think you've given it more tone in the foreground that mine was missing, and so really well done. Squinting and finding that the right tones there. Love it, Jack. Oh, look at this, Nikki. Love it. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I love this. Okay, so really, yes, let go of the colors and let that focus on the tones, and yeah, I love this. I love this. I can really see that reflection. The bowl in the foreground is so strong, and I think you've darkened that up and really made that speak, in the foreground and come forwards. It's lovely. I like that your little handling of the flesh of the oranges too. And look at that skin of the orange in the back there, where you've got that little highlight and nice variations. You've got oranges, you've got yellows, you've got reds. Guys, I'm loving this. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I can't wait. So, we got a sketch. Annie, this is lovely. Really, really nice. So again, really clear tones. You've really abstracted the composition well, and that is bang on. I love that. I absolutely love it. I love the texture on the lemon. You know, yeah, just really, really well done, Annie. And I hope that that ellipse warm up has helped out to get that roundness of the jug. I love it. Really, 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 really nice, angular, confident. You know what they call pencil strokes. I'm thinking of painting. Pencil lines. Yeah, no, I love it. Brilliant, Annie. Oh, hey, oh, we got one on the side. Sorry, guys. Hannah. Oh, look at this. Bringing in the colour pencils. Brilliant. Why not? Oh, I love that. So just squinting and looking at it, and you've got so much. You've got them darks, and you've got them lovely reflections going on. I love the green that you've put into the oranges, and the green, you know, sort of floating around. It's harmonising the picture, and it's giving it this real nice, you know, mode of colour. Like, I really, really like that, and I like your hatching. Hannah, that's spot on. I love it. Well done. Terry says, "What's the email address?" We're not doing the images by email anymore. We're picking them up on Instagram. You can hashtag Jake's Art Club and mention Jake Bussell Art to get featured on the stream. Oh, look at this! Art and afternoon tea. Fantastic. Quick still life painting. Oh, fantastic. Kerry Doyland joining us. That is wonderful. See, this is the thing, you know, I say that I don't like textured canvas, and then I see something like this and I just think, oh, look at that textured canvas. That's fantastic. The detailing and the way that paint's been dragged along and that you get that texture is fantastic. I love that purple shine in the jug. Just, yeah, brilliant. Really, really lovely. And we've got some lost edges, you know, in the foreground, yeah, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I'm really glad you've joined in, and you've got a great painting out of this. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, if you don't have Instagram. You can try replying to the email we sent out earlier this week, and we'll make sure to get yours in the opening credits next week. Yeah. We just won't be able to get it in time for the stream. That's all. But think about getting Instagram. You know, it's a fantastic platform for art. Lovely, really nice, really strong, confident. Brilliant. Yeah, love this. I love the cleanness of the paper, and then all of a sudden that texture and the tone. You know, I'm always covering the paper with most of the paper with charcoal, and I love that you've left it clean and left it that negative space. The email is jakebussell.art@gmail.com. So yeah, we'll get yours up next week. No worries. Love it, Kerry. Fantastic. Oh, we got a great watercolor here. Love this. Okay. Really, really confident with the watercolor and putting in them darker shades of the blue in the bowl to get that kind of you know, concave, convex situation going with a bowl. Bold shadows. My eyes really being drawn to the reflected orange in the in the jug, and that is really speaking to me. That's really clear and a wonderful reflection. And yeah, I mean, it looks great. And I hope to do some watercolors on the stream soon and share with you some of my tips of watercolor. But yeah, this is wonderful, and I love you've managed to get some sort of texture on the oranges too, and that's really nice. I wonder if you put like a little bit of salt, or maybe that's the paper coming up. But it's great. It's a textured orange. Well done. Ah, Sandy, lovely sketch. Thanks so much for joining. Ah, it's lovely. Absolutely love this. Really, I can really see the attention and the detail there in the fruit, in the flesh of the oranges. Nice ellipses too. Really nice on that jug. Brilliant, Sandy. Ah, look at this. Wonderful. Really cool. Look at that. I love that strong framing, and then bam, this is such a strong composition, and you've done it beautifully. Yeah, really nice. Well done. No name on that one, but well done. Annie, I think we've seen Annie's one. Annie, it was a fantastic picture. This must be a few emails, I think, coming in. So, did you get a few emails?
There's a few more pictures in there of a folder.
Oh, okay. I'll grab them.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, we've got a few here without the Instagram thing. Were they emailed?
Yeah, I picked a few of the emails up.
Cool.
But, it's definitely better if we use the Instagram going forwards. I think one of the things, if you're a bit shy and you don't want to post your work with your name on it, create an account, with a funny name or a different name.
Sure. It's just easier for you to grab the images, right?
So much easier, yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's a good idea. If anyone is, I've definitely done that. Creating an anonymous account because a little bit worried about sharing art. But yeah, really good idea, Max. Thanks. And just a bit quicker to get them on the stream that way. So that's brilliant. Look at this. This is great. Some great shadows. I love the core shadow down the right side there. Is that Sibi? Really like this one. Cool. Great one by Debbie. Beautiful core shadow again. Love that jug. That sounds rude, doesn't it? But I do love that jug. That's brilliant. You've got some lovely little reflected light coming in from the right, and that handle looks almost real. I just want to pick it up, and the way you've got this hatching coming round the jug just to emphasize the form of it. Really brilliant, guys. I am blown away by the work that's been made. Look at this. Oh, fantastic. So this looks like oils. So someone's been joining me with the oils. I love it. And yeah, like you've gone in thick. You're really being liberal with the paint, and I love that. And some great contrast on the jug, and yeah, really well done. Sorry, I haven't got a name for that one. Cool. All right. So there's another folder. Is that right, Matt?
Yeah, that's right.
Let's have a look. Oh, 1 second, guys. Here we go. Oh, great. A few more on Instagram. Brilliant. Oh, nice bit of pen work here. I like that. I like that hatching and that reflection. Really kind of illustrative feel here, and yeah, it's really nice. I like the way you haven't put too much pen on. You've left areas and you've let areas speak, and less is more that we were thinking about during the lockdown stream. Brilliant. Oh, I love this. I think I've seen this one earlier, but anyway, really, I like the oranges on this one. I really do, and the fleshy part. You know, that the way they're all connecting in the middle. You've got really nice, strong hatching and tonal shapes, and yeah, I hope the ellipse work was helping you as well. Really nice, really nicely done. Who have we got here? We got Corey, is it? Corey from Brighton. I love this. Oh, that looks like oil pastels. Love it. First time colouring. Oh, it's brilliant. I think you're spot on with them colours. Look, oh yes. I don't know why, we've all paid so much attention to this, the reflections. They're so interesting, aren't they? And I love that there. And you've got the green showing through, the blues, some really nice values changing in the reflections there. And really well done. I think with oil pastels, I think this is oil pastels. I think they're quite difficult to get quite, sharp edges. And that orange there in the bowl, it's got a lovely crisp edge around the whole of it. And it's got some awesome little bits of detail, little highlights and things. And a really clear light and dark side to the bowl. So is it Corey? Well done. Thanks for sending it in. Really, really cool. And we've got another one by Corey. Love it. These are really cool. And Russ. Love these. Charcoal. Look at really strong values on the one on the right. And a lovely, really thought about drawing there. And I love the way you've put the ellipse going through the jug, and you've really thought about it, and you've really constructed it well. Two wonderful drawings there. I love that highlight on the orange. I think it was a lemon, wasn't it? Sorry. No, really nice. Them blackberries, them blueberries look edible, don't they? They look fantastic. Just that little sparkler highlight and the texture. Cool. All right, that's it, guys. Well done. I'm being attacked by light, but yeah, well done, guys. I absolutely loved this. Can't believe we had so many of you join and paint and draw along. So get painting this week, get drawing, create your own still life. And make sure you share it with us. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. Brilliant. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, and I'll play the song on the way out. Here we go. Cheers, guys.